mic.
Yeah, I'll mute this one now. Not sure I'm gonna mute you. Okay, go for it, sis. I think we're good now.
We start by asking ourselves, what is death? What really is death? And from the African concept, death is a transition. It's actually, we do not have death per se from the African perspective, because when we live this life, we transcend to another dimension. We move on to the next life, and life continues. There is where we have come from, there is where we are going. And I need to explain something about a human person. A human is composed of 3 elements.
Okay.
And one element is the body and the soul. The body and the soul are joined together. They exist together. The soul cannot survive without the body. So when the body ceases to exist, or it is no more, the soul also dies. The soul also ceases. Before I dwell in, I would like to give you an example, a picture. I want you to get this picture in your head. In Africa, we have river sources, and in my community, we call it Getoe, where the river starts, the source of the river.
Yeah.
By any chance, you remove that river from its source, that river dries. Even if it rains, even if there is rain, there is flood, the water will just flow, but the river will not be a river again. There'll just be a gully or a valley. You take another example of a tree. If you cut a branch from a tree, because the tree is the source, that branch will die off. It will dry. After some time, it dries. It will survive for some time and then it dries. So, what is death? The death is the separation from the source. And I want to explain something. I've said the body has a soul, and a human being has a body and a soul. Then there is the element of the source. And the element of the source is the spirit. The source is a spirit. It has no form. It has no shape, but it exists. That is the element that the source puts in us, in the body and the soul. When the body dies, or when the body ceases to be, the soul also ceases to be. The spirit can exist outside your body. It is, for us African, it's very easy for the spirit to exist without a body. And I'll give an example actually from my own house. I know you've heard about people who astral project. These are people who are able to come out of their body, and they leave their body and they move. The spirit moves and it meets with other spirits. It can go even because the spirit is not limited to time. That spirit is able to move and even see things in the future, and then the person comes back. I'm talking from what I know, because I have such a person in my house. My own daughter is able to astral project, and I'll give you an example. I hope she doesn't mind. 2 days ago, she told me that she left, and then she met another person who looked like me, and then she asked me, assuming it was me, she asked me, you also leave your body? Then the fake me says yes. So they started having a conversation, and there's something my daughter asked that spirit. They know I'm very possessive of a certain car. I never allow them to use it for my my own reason. So my daughter, to test this familiar spirit, she asked for the car keys for that specific car.
Okay.
Surprisingly, the spirit was very happy to give the car keys.
Okay.
So she told her, no, you cannot be my mother.
Mm.
Because my mother would never give me that car key. And that first, without even asking me a question. So that is when she saw now the spirit now changing into something else.
Wow.
So she had to come back in the house and then get back to her body. So this happens with us Africans. And because of this power, that is what religion came to kill.
Wow.
Because religion is not about life. Religion is all about death. The spirit is not able to do anything wrong because it is like the source. It is exactly a duplicate of the source.
Mm.
The spirit doesn't know how to harm. The spirit doesn't know how to gossip because it's like the source. It is pure. So what happens? When we get separated from the source, now when death is introduced to us, the spirit moves from us.
Mm.
And we have so many spirits hovering. And this is what had happened to all of us. And allow me to say this, when a person is baptized, and most of us, the authors of the region were very, very strategic. They have to be done when you're a baby. And there are questions that are asked. Do you deny the devil? Do you deny? Do you accept this? That is the time you get separated with your spirit. And that is how you are indoctrinated into the death system.
That's deep.
Yes. And that is why people do things and you wonder what is wrong. Why? Because they are dead. The spirit will never ever allow you to do wrong. And that is why I normally question religion when they tell us that Lucifer was an angel and then he sinned against God. And then I ask, does a spirit have a soul? But does an angel has a soul? Then they say no. Does it have a body? Yeah, no. Then how was it able to rebel against God? How was it able to rebel against its source? It doesn't have a mind of its own. It doesn't have a mind of its own. It cannot make a decision on its own because of its essence, the essence of the Creator.
Mm.
So when you come and tell me there was an angel called Lucifer who rebelled and so sin came, I don't buy it. But that is what we live by. We live by that death. So we remove our spirit. Our spirit normally moves away from us. So we start living with the soul and the body. The soul is wicked and it can do anything. That is why somebody can kill and they are okay. That is why somebody will lie and they are okay. That is why somebody will actually, what is the most evil thing? It's actually killing a human being.
Yeah, killing a human being. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I think so.
And the person is okay and he walks around. And they even go to church. So,
yeah, they do.
death from an African concept is actually the introduction of religion.
Mm.
Because that is the time the spirit moved from you, and then you were introduced into a system of death instead of resurrection. And then when you read the Bible, those who study the Bible, those who follow the Bible, they talk so much about the second coming. They talk about the resurrection.
Mm.
And I hope you know the resurrection is nothing but the awakening. The awakening that will happen when now our spirits will start now being restored in our body. When we will come to a realization
Mm.
And then our ancestors will rekindle us. And then now our soul, our spirit will be restored in our bodies. And we'll be renewed beings. And we are going to live forever as it was in the beginning. Because our people live forever. They only change the dimension. Let me just use that word, the dimension. And that is why we are able to speak with them. That is why in the African concept, when somebody transcends, we set them off.
Okay.
There is always a ritual to send them off so that they can cross over. Once they cross over, they are able now to come back. And why do we help them to cross over? So that they can now go back to the source. And from the source, if there's any judgment, we intercede for them. We offer supplications. We offer sacrifices for them so that they'll be judged, with fairness by the source. And then now we connect again with them. They do not go. And they continue living with us. And we feel them, and we see them, and we speak with them. Say something.
What's that, sis?
No, I'm just saying, can you say something?
No, yeah, sorry. I'm just I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, my sister. While I'm listening, I'm just sharing. Yes, it's all right, Karen. And natural,
Yeah.
you're hearing what my sister's saying. Do you want to chime in? Give me a second. Yeah, my sis. What I'm gonna ask is, okay, because we in people religion, because it's so into the mainstream. Basically, we've kind of discarded our African spirituality. So what you're trying to say is basically that religion is death, whereas African spirituality continues.
It is actually life. The religion gives you death. And religion, especially Christian, actually almost all religions, they are based on death. And there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of darkness. And there's nothing about doing good in religion. It's all about you being weak. You start by being told that you are born in sin. You are a baby. You are a pure. You have come from a very pure place.
Yeah.
And then you're told you're born into sin.
Yeah, that makes no sense actually.
And then now, because of that indoctrination, now you are introduced into death. Because sin is death. So your spirit now moves from you. So what I can say is that in the world, people move around with death, and that is why they are always producing death. Think about the GMOs. What is GMO? Isn't it death?
It's basically death. GMOs are death because it's taking the organisms, natural organisms, away from the origins.
And what does it do to the body? It kills
Basically,
the body.
it messes it up because it's not coming from the original source.
Exactly. Every country is talking about manufacturing the latest weapons. Why are we producing weapons? Why are we manufacturing weapons? Are weapons about life or about death?
Yeah, it's basically everything's compromised, my sister.
It's all about death. So when you look around the world after the invasion, because this is where the problem started, at the invasion, death was introduced. At the onset of religion, the invasion, death was introduced. And people have been living in death. That is why when our people die, they don't transcend. They are here, they are hovering around. And actually, sometimes you meet with very angry spirits. Very, very angry spirits because they have not rested. They have not crossed over.
So, sis, how do we get back to this to the way we should be. Because obviously, if we're copying a system or I say spiritual, it's not even spiritual because we're copying systems that's not authentically African. It's not us.
Yeah.
So how do we get back to the original form? Was basically transitioning from one spirit to the other, because that's basically, like I said, African spirituality never dies. And obviously, if religion is death, how do Africans? Because this is a challenge facing a lot of Africans, because we believe and we think Christianity is the answer. Christianity is this and that, and we've bought into systems that actually is completely detrimental to our survival. Because it is. People don't understand this, that the Christ thing, the Islam thing, basically has nothing to do with African spirituality at all. It's something that was imposed on us. So how do we get back to the original form of African spirituality?
I always like going back to our Africanism or Alkebulan system of we live. There's nothing that is new in this life because it is according to African spirituality. Life continues. It's actually like a relay. We live, we go, we come back. Some come back, some stay in the spirit world. And there are things that were foretold by our forefathers. Our forefathers spoke about the invasion. They spoke about our people abandoning our ways, and this is us now who abandoned our ways. And our ways are not what people assume, because when we talk about our ways, people go back and ask, oh, you want us to go back to living in the bush? But I always ask, what is wrong in living in the bush?
But yeah, because that's basically us.
Yeah. You want us to start wearing goat skin, and I ask, what is so wrong in wearing goat skin? That is leather, and leather is very expensive. Oh, you want us to continue to go back into living in mud houses? Do you know those are the best houses?
Yeah, they are, because they're eco-friendly. In mud houses, don't forget, sis, in mud houses, you don't need the air condition. You don't need
And the way they were built, they were cylindrical. There's a reason why they were all round.
Yep.
And facing a certain direction. The man's heart had to face a certain direction, and I'm talking about across the African communities. So when death was introduced, I was talking about what was foretold. We were foretold that we will forsake our ways. But people assume that forsaking our ways is just, getting into what some people assume it is civilization, these clothes we are wearing, going into this academic system. Going into the academic system is actually going to learn the way of the person who brought death. Because without knowing your enemy, you wouldn't know how to defeat them. So you have to learn their ways. You had to learn their religion. You had to know where it has come from. And then it was foretold that the ancestors will rise again and a new dawn will come. And this is what they wrote in the Bible about the second coming of Christ. And I think in the last conversation we had, I explained about who the Son of Man is.
So who is the Son of Man? You want to repeat that for people to hear?
The Son of Man is an African. He's a black man. The Son.
Yeah, the Son.
We are the children of the Son.
Yes. Yeah.
When other races are destroyed by the Son, for it to make us strong.
Imagine.
Yeah, good evening, my brother. My sister's talking. Yeah, I'll let you talk to me. Just listen to what she's saying for now. Yeah, Igor Brown. Good evening, my brother. Giza. Good evening. Yeah, go on, sis.
Yeah, the Son heals us. So after that, now we were foretold about now this second coming. The Modogo knew because he studied the African. He knew about all these prophecies. And that is why he brought about the New World Order. Yesterday I had a conversation with somebody about the New World Order and why the religion really tries to scare people about the New World Order. And I explained to him, do you know what is the New World Order? It is where we are headed now. After the awakening, everything will be restored to its original order. That is the new order. No corruption, no sin, no theft, no killing. And then now we'll be restored. Our spirits will be restored. That is the awakening that was foretold. After our spirits are restored now, we'll live forever just like our ancestors. It is a life everlasting. We'll just be transcending, and others will be coming and continuing with life. When our time comes to leave the body, the spirit now goes back to the source. And once it is judged by the source, it comes back now to protect whoever they have left. And I'm talking about that through experience. I know you don't know I lost my husband.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, he crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy is always coming back and telling me things.
Yeah.
We do them. And if we don't follow instructions, something happens. So our people don't die. They transcend. So this introduction of death, where now the body was left with the soul, is what now religion lives for. And that is why there's a lot of mourning and grieving now when the body ceases to breathe. There's a lot of grieving because it is an end. And that is what they give death.
So I'm just going to recap what you're saying. So basically what you're saying is religion is death, whereas African spirituality gives us life. It's continuous.
Life continues.
Okay.
And then,
all right. I'm going to bring some people up. You want to say, is there anything you want to add to that before I bring people up to start talking?
Yeah, I want to add on what is death actually.
Okay.
Death is what can I say? The inability to do good.
So death is an inability to do good. Inability to do good.
Yes, and that is why you talk about forgiveness every time. You kill, you run for forgiveness. You steal, you run for forgiveness, and you knew exactly what you were doing. So you are not capable, and that is what is preached by religion, that man is wicked. Man is born in sin. Why?
Oh, they would say man is weak.
Yeah, man is weak. They are not capable of doing good. How could the source create something that is not capable of doing good? And this thing comes from the source, comes from it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, sis. Natural, you were the first one online. Do you want to say something to what my sister is saying? You want to? What do you think? Any questions?
He's muted. You have muted him.
Yeah, I muted because he was making some noise there. Okay, is that Gize? Gize? Hiya.
You have muted Natural, and he's actually posted that he's gone offline.
Okay. Yeah, he can unmute himself anyway. So, Natural, you want to say something, my brother?
Yes. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Okay. What do you think? You listen to what my sister's saying?
I'm really grateful. Yes, I've been following what Dr. Mitugo, who's my sister, has been sharing, and I'm really grateful. I'm talking from Kenya, and actually, I would agree with most of the things that actually she has been talking about.
Okay. You want to add anything to it?
So, Doc, you've muted this.
Sorry?
This is Natural. You've muted the guy who is making his speech.
No, I didn't mute him. Carry on talking.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I don't know if it's the problem on my side. Okay, can you be able to hear me?
Bro. Carry on talking.
Okay, thank you so much. So, I was saying that everything that actually my sister has been sharing is actually, most of them are very accurate, and
Okay.
especially the last word that he has said, that death is inability to do good, and I am very much impressed with that. It's one of the things that I've been sharing with people. Now, when we talk about Africanism, our roots, our culture, it is one of the thing that actually the generation that is coming, our generation, I mean that the children that we are bringing up, we need to teach them our culture. We need to teach them our Africa. Uh, uh, I have been teaching and I've been telling people that whatever the Africa was imposed on, it is somebody's culture. It is somebody's culture, because Africa had its own culture. Africa had nothing to do with the boundaries, and Africa believed that there is God, there is a supreme God.
Yep.
And Africa never believed in anything to do with the son of someone. Africa believed that there is a God. In Kenya, we have different tribes, and these different tribes, they have different. They used to call God in their own native language. The Kikuyus, whom we normally believe their land has a big mountain, then they will say the god of Enkai, and this Enkai, they could call him as they face the mountain. And where the mountain is, it is where the sun could rise from. Now, we believed in that. And by our ancestors believing that, they were able to bring us, we were able to come out from them. Now, if someone comes and tells us that whatever we used to believe in, it is not true, and now we are being brought in with a somebody's historical book. I will always call a Bible an historical book from a given culture in a given region, which is an European culture. Now, these people, they are coming with this historical book, and which they are saying that at a given time, as it is written in that historical book, there is people who are doing a sin, and these people, God spoke to someone who is called Noah, and he said that Noah, I have seen that people are doing sin, and their sin, it has made me angry, and now I want to wipe away this generation so that I can remain with your generation. Now, if I told that our ancestors were serving a thing which was not good, I am very much sure God will have wiped away Africa, and me and you, we won't be there. If it is true that the book we believe in is true, I don't know if you are able to get me, my brother.
Yeah, I'm getting you, man.
Yeah.
No. So someone sits somewhere and writes something to convince us. Now, if my ancestors, my great grandfather, were believing in something which was not true, why come that this God that they are telling us is the true God did not feel so angry with them and wipe them away, so that as we won't be suffering to believe in what is not true? I don't know. I think we need to come. We need to understand this historical book. It is creating some confusion.
It is.
Another thing.
That's why we
Another
that's
thing
why we
that
hear
makes
about. This is why we're breaking it down.
Yes. Another thing that me, at a given point, I'm born in a family which has a different religion. My mom is a Christian and my dad is a Muslim, and my great grandfather was an Anglican pastor. And now me myself, I don't believe in any religion. I always believe there is God, the God that my ancestors believed in. Now, when I was being raised up, I was reading the Bible, and that's why I understand whatever that is reading in that Bible. Now, and I read that time, and I will come and read the Quran. Now, what is written in that historical book? They tell us that at a given point, a son was born. Now, this son is one we are calling Jesus Christ. And they are saying that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And whom they are saying that is being born miraculously. And is being born in Bethlehem. And when he's being born in Bethlehem, there is someone who wants to kill this person because it has been prophesied that he's going to be the King of Kings. Now this person comes
allegedly.
Yes. Now this person is being linked to Africa, in Egypt. And now if this is the Son of God, and I believe that God is a miraculous God, a supreme God, the God I believe in, I believe that is a great God. Now when this son of God goes to Egypt, immediately God steps somewhere. There is so many things that are supposed to be done. Right? But where the Son of God is going, the land changes to be an Arabic land. Because Egypt, where Jesus went to hide, it is an Islamic state. Now, if it was the Son of God, we need to get Christianity now. The second Testament it's supposed to be explained more with the Egyptians, because they were the first people to save the Son of God. If it is true, it was the Son of God. Now, why comes that now this Son of God is not working miraculous to change this state to be a state of Christian, and now it is being hated because, and again, they tell us that at a given point, that land, it had also the children of Israel, and these children of Israel, we are being told that they suffered in that land. Now that one is the Old Testament. Now again, because the children of Israel, they have suffered in this land, and then God tells the mother who has given birth to his son that go in the land of where my children suffered and hide my son there. I don't know if you can get
sense. I think people just need to wake up. Yeah, Dr. Mitugo, you want to say something to that? You want to round that off? I need to get somebody else on.
Yes, I want to jump in and just clarify something, because when we talk about religion, it is not from a point of ignorance. It is from research, it is from study, and knowing the origin, because without knowing the origin of something, you cannot understand it.
And you'll abuse.
And all these books of religion, the Bible, the Quran, and all these other books, and especially the Bible, the Quran, the meaning of these two books in Africa are, I like calling them the colonization manuals. They are the books that were used to colonize our people. My great-grandfather, I like giving that story because it's a true testimony. I was told my grandfather, my great-grandfather, because he was a seer and was a great medicine man. He was a diviner. He was castrated in front of his family so that he could believe, so that he could confess and accept religion, Christianity.
Wow.
He opted to die. He chose to die. He just told them to just kill me. So we need to understand why Christianity was introduced to Africa, or to Alkebulan. It was to make us, what can I say? controllable. It's very easy to control people when you use the spirit of
It was
God.
made to make us submissive.
That is why I'm calling it death. You can control a death, you lift it and put it where you want because it has no life. So this is what religion did to us. But the good thing is that everything that is happening, even now, it has been foretold, and that is why so many Alkebulan, the black community all over the world, is rising up, waking up, and wanting to know who they are. Who am I?
Yeah.
And in
That's
Africa, our people did not believe in God. They knew the
We knew
source.
God. We knew God.
They knew Him,
Yes,
and
we
it
did.
was not a Him. It's a mystery. This idea of a male supreme being is actually came with religion.
It's a fallacy.
Yeah, it came with religion. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
They knew their source. They felt Him. He revealed Himself. I mean, the source always revealed itself to
Yes.
Africans,
yeah.
and they could speak with the source. And that is why I
Yeah.
have explained how the spirit is. The spirit is just like its source, your spirit. The spirit that was kicked out of you when you went through the waters of baptism. That is when you were separated with your spirit.
And that
And
is
you are
another ritual.
given
That's
a
another
new
ritual,
name.
isn't it, sis? That's another ritual.
Yes, it's
I
a
think that's
ritual.
another
And that
ritual.
is why,
Very
Yes,
true.
it is.
that,
People don't
yes,
understand
let
that.
me finish. Let me finish. That is why they insist on baptizing children. So the parents have so much power. As a parent, I have power over my children when they are growing up, even when they are grown. So when the parent is the one confessing on behalf of that baby, that one is a covenant by itself. And then we know the meaning of water in the African concept.
Yep.
You are dipped. When we want to purify, when we want to cleanse ourselves, we go to the river and we join ourselves with the river goddess. And we are purified by the water. Why? Because when a baby is being born, or when the baby is in the stomach, that baby, where she is in the, or he is in the womb, there is water. They are covered and protected by the water. And that is why we always go to the river to be purified, to be cleansed, and to be joined again with the river goddess, who is very powerful. And she's a woman.
Yeah. You're all good, sis.
Yeah, the river goddess is a woman.
Yep.
So in baptism now, when you are dipped or when they poured that water on you, they stopped calling you by your name. They gave you another name.
So they basically took you away from yourself.
They removed your guardian. Your spirit was removed from you, and you're given another spirit. I hate the name that I was given. I had to go through a ritual now to separate myself from that name and that spirit that was given me.
That is deep.
Yes. So you now start living in that condition they have given you of man being born in sin, and you start confessing sin, you start confessing death instead of speaking life.
Wow.
Yes, everything is about death. And that is why I have given an example. Why are we always destroying? Why are we destroying the environment? Because we don't think about posterity. Why? Because we think there is a finality in life. But the African spiritual perspective, there is no finality in life.
Wow.
Others will come. So the Bible, the Quran, I call them the books of colonization, or the colonization manuals. And if you read the Bible, I know you've said you've read the Bible. Anybody who has read the Bible, it's so much about slave obeying their masters.
Yeah,
And
it makes you submissive, sis. It doesn't make you think.
Obey, 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 obey. Husband, obey your wives, obey your husband. Servants, obey. And then the stories that actually only makes sense to the person who wrote. The story of creation, I've always asked when I was growing up, although I used to be beaten, I was very curious. I always asked, because Adam and Eve were white, when did we become black? And then,
Yeah, interest. Let me pause you there for a minute. Natural, you've been waiting for a while. Do you want to say something, my brother?
Oh, to be frank, I really love the topic and I'm really enjoying it because I've decided not to believe in anything due to my past experience. But then, one way or the other, I try to remember my grandma, what she used to say. Africa is beautiful.
Yeah.
We've got to protect our heritage. We've got to protect our rituals, what we used to do when we were little. Sometimes they'll tell us we don't sleep in the night. What's the reason? I just ask, not because probably someone or some spirit will come, but rather a precious jewel might fall. So if you sweep it away in the night. So you've got to keep it early in the morning when you are sweeping. You say it by all means, right? Then you pick it up. So it's like things that they used to tell us when we were little really protected us as Africans, as a Ghanaian.
Yep.
You get it, my brother and my sister.
get you.
And these things are beautiful. But it's like this mastermind of a book called the Bible came to, destroy everything. But Charlie, we will stand against it. Cause me, the Bible, I don't see anything vital in it. Sometimes when I tell my friends and I tell my people, they're like, you are a devil. Yeah, they see you as devil anyway. Yeah, you are a devil. It's like you don't believe in the Bible, so you are a devil. You know, you see the mindset. Where in fact the Bible brainwashed about 60% of Africans.
But bro, it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to do that, and it's doing it.
That is what the Bible was supposed to do. That's why I'm calling it the manual of colonization, colonizing the mind, colonizing our being, that you cannot reason beyond. And you know, our African spirituality is so much based on facts, just like science. Everything has facts. And everything is so real. And that is why in African spirituality, we don't believe. We know.
We know, yeah.
We know.
African spirituality is knowing.
It's all about knowing. So if something is in the dark, then you start questioning. You don't go in the dark. You don't believe. You ask.
We're meant to question everything.
Yes. When a calamity happens in a family, you ask why. You just don't kneel down and start believing and praying. You ask a question. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
I have
Guys,
this over
can
my
you mute yourselves there, guys, or I will mute you. Yeah, carry on, sis.
Yes. So, I don't want to divert so much from the concept, but I don't want to lose the concept of death, because I would like us to see death as it is. That in African spirituality, there is no end of life.
Okay.
Life
All right.
continues.
Let me bring in self-realization. How are you, my brother?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, bro.
I'm good, sir. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
I'm enjoying the conversation. Good evening, ma. I always like to listen to your opinions and knowledge. They are very enlightening. So, what's the topic today? But I could hear a lot of talk about originality, spirituality, and all that. But is there a
Okay.
topic for today?
There is a topic today. Sis, you want to recap?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
topic for today. Yeah, the topic for today is death from an African spiritual perspective, understanding death and its
Okay,
meaning.
okay. Oh,
Yes.
that's a great topic.
Yeah.
Oh,
And what we are saying is that the human being has three elements. You have your body, you have your soul, and you have your spirit. And the spirit
yes.
is the main element that comes from your source. It is just like the source.
Okay.
Then there are people even now Africans who are able to astral project. They are able to get out of their body. The spirit moves out of them, and they go and do things, and then they come back into the body. They could be
Yes.
walking, they could be sleeping, they could be in class. And I've said that I have seen it with my own daughter. So it's not something that I've learned from a book. It's something that I know and have seen. And what does that tell us? It tells us that the spirit can operate without the body and with the soul, but the soul cannot operate without the body. So when a religion was introduced to us, and what happens to us during baptism, our spirit is removed, or it is actually kicked, because it is kicked out of our being.
Wow.
And you're given a new name. You separate yourself you are separated from the source. And that is why there is that ritual of words, because in a ritual there is always word, and there is either water or blood. When that ritual is done, then your spirit is moved from you. And that's explained. That is why we have so much death in the world. Everybody thinks about death. And the religion has taught us that death is a finality. But from the African concept, death is a transition. You move to the next dimension.
I like that. I like that fact. That's a fact.
It does not die. And that is why in the African concept, when you die, let me just use that word. When you die, there are rituals that we perform to help you cross over. So that once
Exactly.
you cross over, now we reconnect with you again. And this I have seen. This is not something I studied. This is something I have experienced. And that is how our ancestors, that is how our parents who have gone, our spouses who have gone, are able to protect us. And they are able to give us information about tomorrow. They reveal things to us because they are not limited in space and time. They can visit any house and they see what is going on, and then they come back and give you the information. I have seen it with myself, with my experience, not something I studied, but my own experience. I have seen it. So what is happening right now is what was foretold by our forefathers about the awakening. And I've said this is what the Modogo put in the Bible and in the Quran about the second coming of Christ. But when you read the book of Revelation, the number 666 is the composition of the melanin. And that is why they say it is the number of a man. And that man is the black man. That man will resurrect. So our spirits are being restored in us. That is why there is that awakening, that very strong desire of reconnecting. And actually, I'm trying to connect so much with our black community in the diaspora, the descendants of the slaves, because for them they were removed completely. For us, we are better because we are here. We are still founded and grounded. But for them, they were removed. For us, when we were growing up, there were some rituals we were seeing. We were seeing, if it is marriages, we could see the naming, the birth, the initiation. They are still there. Although not the very original, but they are there. You know, we can easily fall back. But for the people, the descendants of the slaves, they were cut completely. And they are having that desire of wanting to reconnect, because the awakening is for the whole of the Black community, the
All right, so
melanin, the sons of the sun,
yeah,
the
so
sons and the daughters of the sun.
thanks, sis. Thanks. Let's hold it for a bit there. Chill Mill, you want to say something before I bring on somebody? I think Natural's got a question for you. Hi, Chill Mill.
Oh, hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, my brother.
Okay, so I'm George. I'm based in London. I actually know Dr. Njoki.
Okay.
She's opened my eyes on so many levels, and we do talk about the Bible. So for myself, I was raised. I was raised in the church, but from a young age, it just didn't feel right. And you probably noticed my comments there about the Bible. I see it as, and I'm from a diaspora. And the running joke I have with Dr. Njoki is that I'm the child, I'm the slave child, which is true. That's the reality. Even my name and my surname. But the Bible, how I see the Bible now, um, the use of it, it's done a good, I've got to be real. It's done a really good job. It's done a good job on many of us in the diaspora,
Yep.
in as much as how it's kind of separated us from, as Dr. Njoki said, the source. And it's like and I think this is where my kind of like struggle came with it eventually. I thought I'm expected to read this, even with school. When I was at school and I was born here, and in school they used the Bible, and I thought I was expected to read all these different chapters, all these different psalms or proverbs and whatnot, but there was no explanation. So it's like I'm swallowing something, not realizing that it's poison, but then I've got to tell myself that it's good food. So for me, that's the complete and utter confusion.
I love that analogy, my brother, man. That's
Do you know what I'm
brilliant.
saying? Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's what it was. It's like it's good for you, but not realizing it's slowly killing you. It's slowly killing literally slowly killing my spirit, because I've never drawn any strength whatsoever from the Bible. Never, ever, ever drawn any strength. If anything, it's created more confusion, and I've got to believe in something that I couldn't really. What I think the thing that really what's always bugged me is that when I die, then I'm gonna be, when I go to heaven, then I get the fruits of life. And I'm thinking, but hold on here, I've got bills to pay, I've got a life to deal with on earth, and I've got to die before I can actually manage my life. And that from that point in time, I thought,
Makes no
no,
sense.
that made no sense. It was just all it did was created a sense of, I'll be honest with you, it created depression for me, because it's really the Bible's it's so ingrained and deep within my own family. So naturally I was influenced. I thought, let me pick it up and let me have a look at this book. I couldn't find anything. At that point I realized I'm on my own. This is like I've got to kind of embrace life and find my way through life. Because the Bible had nothing to offer me whatsoever. So I feel blessed coming into contact with Dr. Njoki, because she's my like a little guru, and she's always sharing things. And to the point I'm saying, there's so many of us like me, and even many of my friends, some of the, from over the Caribbean or Africa, and they're part of the diaspora, and I see that they're in pain. Some of my closest brothers are in pain, because they're going through this searching as well. And they can't, and, they can't, they know there's something in the Bible. They're not going to turn to that, but there's a void in them that needs filling. So in terms of true spirituality, is so needed. It's so needed for us
Yep.
who are who are part of the slave triangle, basically.
Yeah.
It's so needed for we are hungry for that. We are desperately we are starving children. That's what I can say. We are starving children.
Thank you very much, Judge, for that. Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Natural, you have a question for the doctor.
Yes, I have a question. When it comes to death, I don't know whether people get self-aware before they die. I don't know. Yeah. And then secondly, with the astral projection, does it come like a dream to you when your spirits leave your body?
Thank you. I didn't catch the first question.
The first question is, when someone is about to die, like death, do you get awareness? Like, do
Do
you
you get
know?
some kind of premonitions?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that one is a yes because I saw the same with my father. The same with the first person to I saw was my grandmother. That was a long
Okay.
time ago, in 1985. Grandmother, I was taking
I'm
care of
getting some
her.
echo, so I'm gonna mute you here while the doctor's talking.
Yeah,
Hey, go
with
on.
my grandmother, I was taking care of her, and she told me she's going on a journey. I should clean her very, very well. And there are some girls who are waiting for her, and she's going on a journey. She's not coming back. But one day I will meet her. And then she just left. She
Wow.
just died. Then my mother, I was with my mother the whole day. I knew somehow her spirit summoned all her sisters. Her sisters came to her, and none of them was informed by the other that they are coming, but all of them came home. Her spirit summoned them,
Wow.
and she sat with them. She was very weak, she was very frail, and she told them that she's going. She told me, literally told me, can you stop sitting on my legs? I want to go. And I was not sitting on her. Stop holding my legs. Stop sitting on my feet. I want to go. And she left. My father asked me a question. He asked me, is there anything else that is left for me here? Because I feel I need to go. Is it okay if I go? So the death awareness is there. It is there. And many people, and especially those who are in hospital, have been working with hospitals, visiting hospitals. And when they are about to die, many people request to be taken home, but people get confused. I want to go home. I don't like it here. I want to go. So they go. Astro projection are, I don't astro project. It's actually my daughter who does. But she tells me she can even do it when she's sitting down. When she was in high school, she would tell me sometimes she'd get bored in class and just decide to move. And and then she'll go. She would go, roam around, and then now come back. But most of the time, the people I've also interacted with, they tell me it happens just before they fall asleep.
Interesting.
What is happening in Kenya right now? What you have seen with the Gen Zs in Kenya, I've talked to a few of them, and they told me they didn't know it was astro projecting. They were telling me they could see themselves walking on the streets holding phones and placards and a glass and a bottle of water, but they are also floating because the vibration was so high, and it's still very high. So they are able to astro project. And I said, those are the people you are joking around with.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, sis. Diamond Crust, hello. Hello, Diamond Crust.
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, have you got anything to say to what we're talking about today, my sister?
No, I just joined the live.
Okay, you just joined it. Okay, no problem. So you're listening in, yeah?
Alright.
Okay. So basically, my sister, so in terms of summing up what you're saying right now is that African spirituality is awakening. So our African spirituality is breathing life into Africa right now. So what we're doing right now is casting away the death, which is the concepts of our colonizers, basically the Bible, the Quran, basically, which means nothing to the continent. So basically, that's been cast away, is what you're saying.
What we are saying it is the awakening is a process.
Yes.
And what I've seen happening is that every family, the ancestors are awakening one person first. Because they need to separate you and let you understand, make you understand. And it is not easy. It's difficult.
Mm.
You get a burden because nobody understands you anymore. You don't go
Yeah.
to church. You
Yeah.
don't.
You know what, sis? I'm in my family. I'm that one person.
I am that one black sheep. Actually,
I'm.
my family, at first, when I started now getting a walk, I was told it is my, when people learn so much, when they get their PhDs, they lose their head. And I also thought I was losing my head because I could see images. I'm seeing people, they're speaking with me.
Mm.
I'm going to church. They are following me in the church and making sure that I'm not in the church. Actually, I think I moved to 5 churches. From the Catholic Church, I went to the Deliverance Church. I went to another church, I can't remember the name, a very small one. Gospel Assembly, I was all over.
Mm.
Until I had now to settle down and listen.
Yeah.
The dreams became so vivid, and sometimes I couldn't even know when I'm dreaming and when I'm seeing a vision. I couldn't know when I'm awake or when I'm asleep because I would just sit on the sofa, sometimes even in the office. And then I don't know whether I would doze off, but I would start seeing images. Then all of a sudden, like after 2 days, whatever I had seen, it would happen. So it is
Mm.
a struggle. So you are awoke, you are awakened, they awaken one person, but then that person, there are rituals that you're supposed to do to restore. Resurrection, awakening, which is actually the resurrection, it is a spiritual process that encompasses rituals.
Mm.
And one ritual I did is to denounce my Christianity, and I had to give back that name, chasing that whoever, that guide I was given when I was being baptized, and calling back my spirit to come back to me
Wow.
so that I can receive now my resurrection.
Wow. Wow. The way you put that is actually fully loaded, man. Fully loaded.
Yeah. And after I received my spirit came back is when now I felt the essence of the source.
Wow.
Yes. And sometimes I get things I ask myself whether I'm the one who have done it. I'm given
Wow.
assignments, I do that assignment, I wonder where that it's got nothing to do with what I have studied. It's something very different.
Mm.
And I'm able to perform that task even without having studied it, without having prior knowledge of it.
So that means you're tapping into your indigenous knowledge systems, basically. Something that's
Yes,
naturally there.
yes. I'll go to the forest and then I'll just start getting information about certain plants. This heals this. This is used to cure this. If you do this, this is gonna cure this. And then I correct all those plants. I take them to the laboratory. I test them. And I see the element, the contents of that plant. And I'm shocked.
Wow.
Yes.
This is deep.
That is, being connected with the source. You
Yeah.
find people struggling and you laugh at them because you don't know what they're struggling. What is
Mm.
the struggle is about? You see people stealing, like our case here. I'm seeing somebody with billions of money in the bank, and I'm wondering, why do I need billions of money? I don't need it because it is death.
But
So that
some people would tell you that we need it because in the wait, let me put it this way: in the system we're in today, they've created this illusion, which basically tells us that we need all this money to do all these things. Basically, they've created all these trinkets and belongings that people aspire to. So some people would say in this system that we're in, we need, in order for you to fit into this matrix, you actually need the money. Obviously, the paper money is an illusion anyway, because it's basically something they created. But some people, and that's why a lot of our people get stuck, because they feel if they haven't got this money or this so-called belonging in the system, they haven't achieved anything.
and actually that is the concept of death, because money. I remember even when I started being awakened, I started questioning money. What is money? This is just a piece of paper. A piece of paper that means that I can fuel my car. But what does it mean? And even today, I still have that. It still disturbs me. What is money? I can have money and have no food. I can have money and have no medicine. That is the concept of death in this system. We live in death. And that is why you feel the need to acquire to an extent of taking that which is not yours. Because you are so much afraid of everything. You are afraid of living. You know, when you start working with your ancestors, I laugh because I tell people, when you start working with your ancestors, you don't need bodyguards. No. Because they tell you what is happening.
What's to come? Yeah, they do. You have the intuition to tell you that your spirit that tells you stuff.
House in the morning, they've already told me. And there are times they tell me you're not going to use your. Actually, now for the last 2 weeks, I've not been using my car. Why? I don't know. And they tell me you're not going to use the car, so I leave my car and I use public means. And there's a reason. There are people I meet who are struggling. And I sit next to them and I explain to them. By the time they are getting to where they are lighting, I've already given them information.
So my sister, the question for you then, how do people who are trying to get back to the African spirituality, people who are trying to reconnect to the source, how do they go about doing this? Because a lot of people, like my brother said earlier, a lot of people are lost. Obviously, so many people have just sold out to the Christianity or the Islam that when we're talking about alternative, which is originally us, people struggle to actually fit into it. How do they get back to this?
One thing you do is to have that desire to be reconnected. Once you receive the awakening, because for me the awakening is a call. They kick you on the head.
Yeah, it does. I can relate to that, my sister, man.
Yeah, they kick you on the head, and then now you start having that desire of wanting to be connected. And what I have seen, our people, I don't like calling them ancestors. I like calling them our people. Our people do. They always connect you with someone.
Yeah.
Someone who will walk with you, someone who will guide you. Because African spirituality is not divided among community lines or tribal lines. No, it is one thing. We have one spirituality. It's uniform. The power that we have, our relationship with the universe, our relationship with the 4 elements of the universe, it is the same. The feminine power that we draw from the moon, it is the same.
Okay, thank you, sis.
The language of the birds, the language of the insects and the animals is the same. Our folk tales. Actually, the other day I was actually told verbally to start narrating our stories, and this is what I'm doing in my mother tongue. And I'm discovering our folk tales. They are so connected with the awakening.
Those storytelling has so much messages, and this is basically what we're losing. And we need to actually bring this back for the sake of the generations behind, because these are the things we're losing, and we need this back.
Yeah. So that is what somebody can do. You start desiring, and then you definitely be guided in somebody who will walk with you. Yeah. And then don't be afraid, because many people are actually swimming in fear. They don't want to let go. Like in Kenya, there is a community that says that they are following our culture, but they are in the church. Because people are afraid of letting go. If I let go of the church, then what? Who will bury me? They're so much concerned about the barrier.
And this is one of the biggest problems. And this is basically why people are stuck. People are actually so stuck in terms of, because in the diaspora, because I live in the diaspora, and the only community that people have in the diaspora is the church.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of diasporans cannot get away from it, because basically in terms of us getting together, that's basically where most of diasporans meet. In terms of that's basically it. That's where they meet. So when you leave the church, because I used to be in the church, I used to be a deacon in the church, and I used to be in the church for years. I used to be basically in the inner circle where I saw all the flaws, and that's one of the reasons why I came out of it, because I think none of this makes sense. So a lot of diasporans, and obviously in Africa today as well, apart from people Africans, we know we love our parties, but also the church is another place where people converge, where they meet up. So a lot of people, once they're stripped away from the church or these kind of meetings, people get lost in these kind of things, because then where do I belong? Because since I left church, me and my wife are trying to build a community amongst ourselves, so people of like minded where we can actually talk about things. So for people who have left the church, what can they actually do? Because this is where people are losing. I've asked this question already, but how do people get back, find the community that we can work together with?
We're having this conversation.
Yes.
So I'm advising, actually, I've been approached by people asking me how they can do it. Joining a conversation like this one.
Yeah.
And this one I'm talking about our people guiding you connecting you with somebody who can work with you. Yeah. So our people can join such platforms. The other thing is now talking openly. You can start by the simple ritual of offering libation, and you can offer your libation as long as you're stepping on the soil. That is the best. Connect with our people, because even in the diaspora, our people have died there. So in that soil, our people are there. So if you offer libation, you can take water. Don't worry so much. In Africa, we use river water or rainwater, because we are in Africa. We have access. We have access to the rivers and we can always harvest the rainwater. But in the diaspora, I've lived in the US. I know you only have the tap water, so you can use the tap water and just speak. Just speak. You have a name. You have an African name. Somebody like George, I don't know who they call, because the descendants of slaves, they don't have their African names. But just call upon those who have gone and reconnect them. Just tell them you want to reconnect. You want to get revelation. You would like them to visit you in dreams. Let them visit you in dreams, because dreams are comfortable when you start awakening. Because if they come the way they come,
that's true.
Some of us, it is scary. But
okay, I got a few people there, sis. Let's move it on a little bit. A noble citizen, you want to say something? Noble citizen, okay. Hello.
Especially in the area of what is the name? Mitugo? Dr. Mitugo's name? Mitugo. Sorry. I'm from Africa, Sierra Leone to be precise.
Right.
West Africa. When it comes to connecting, I would say the only true way is through Yeshua. That's the only right way to connect is through Yeshua.
Okay.
Who is Yeshua?
Our Messiah.
Who's Messiah?
My Messiah.
Yeah, maybe yours. Maybe you're on the wrong platform, because we don't believe in that here.
So you don't believe in him?
Nope.
Okay.
African spirituality, we don't have a Messiah, because he failed. If he was true, our people would not have been taken as slaves. But his name was used for our people to be enslaved and colonized, raped, killed, and all atrocities that were committed on our people. And it still goes on even today, that people kill and steal in his name, and they go to that church. That is why in African spirituality, there's nothing than a Messiah. He's fake.
Oh.
Yes.
So did our ancestors tell you that?
Yes.
Well, no, but they don't have to tell us that. We can see it.
No, right.
We've
What
had to
if
say we can see the evil.
what if mine is different? What I experienced with him was different. That they are
He's
even
not
working
the
together.
cause of all the problems we have in Africa. If he was not brought to Africa, Africa could not be having a problem.
I agree.
He came to bring problems and death. Actually, he is the source of death in Africa. He separated our people from life.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go on, Santos.
First of all, Nobu, you're welcome. And to me, there's nothing wrong with your perspective because I don't see wrong and right. I only see solutions to things. And talking about your SWAS, we don't really understand what you mean by is the only right way because there is no right way. There are different approaches. That's why you can see in the African communities, a different language or tribe have a different way of performing their rituals, but they are all connecting to the one self. So there are different approaches. So if your Swaz is your way of approach, you can explain to us how that is possible for you because I understand the power of the mind. When you manifest anything from your mind, deep down to your subconscious, it becomes your reality and you think that's the truth for yourself. So maybe that's what you're experiencing because there's a reason why the pastors in the church, before they perform any miracle, they make sure the people give away their power by saying they believe. Because if you don't give out your power, it won't be possible. So they are wise enough to know that they need to get your permission to be able to do whatever they want to do in your head and all that. So Yeshua, yes, there's a historical fact about him existing, but to my understanding, Yeshua was a man like me and you who was awoken just like how we are waking up, and in his era he tried to tell the people how to live life
You
in
know
a
what,
better way.
Santos. Santos, sorry, before you finish, I'm just gonna put this into it. What if I tell you that your so-called Yeshua was a mythological figure that never existed? How about that?
What if I
I
tell
know
you
the
that?
Bible. I know the Bible story approach and everything. The Bible is
Yeah,
just
no, but what I'm
fiction.
trying to say to you is, what if you were told that your so-called Yeshua did not exist? It was a mythological African story that they brought to life. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I know about the
Guy,
essence.
you need to do. If you go back to the history, history exists. Jesus Christ story is about 2,000 years old. Africans lived way before that.
Definitely.
The Nubians had history way before that. We existed before that. So when you start doing and digging, you'll find out that all these things that you see are all mythological stories that did not exist in real life. And every religion and whatever you want is all mythological. Even African histories are mythological.
Exactly. And also, maybe to add on to that is that in Greek mythology, we have virgin birth. In Roman mythology, there is a virgin birth. Even in the Chinese or Japanese mythology, there is a virgin birth. So
Yeah.
there's nothing special about Yeshua. The
No.
virgin must have been there. No, these are God. And that is why in Africa,
Actually, to my history knowledge, falling back to the essence, a man lived, not just one. They have almost 13 different people of kind of similar stories with the Yeshua stories who was
About
awoken.
16,
And
16 of them, Santa. 16.
Okay, thanks for the correction. So they were awoken and they realized the way of the people wasn't actually the best way to live life as humans on earth. So they tried to speak out, and as of then, things were more rash, and compared to how we are now, there's a little bit freedom now than before. So they penalize them the best way they can. But when you come to the Yeshuas of the Bible, which is a different thing entirely, which is because the whole Bible is a fiction. The whole Bible is a literature fiction. So if Nobu is talking about the Yeshuas in the Bible, which is referred to as Jesus, then I don't have anything to say about that because I don't believe in that.
So what if I say my own Yeshua is not that's in the Bible?
Oh, exactly. So I would like to know more about your own side of the picture.
So one thing that caught my attention when I came across this live is when I heard source. Source was what caught my attention, because I know whoever mentioned source is awakened.
Okay.
Was what caught my attention. And to be honest, it was Yeshua that led me to source.
So what is your definition of Yeshuas?
To be Yeshua himself is source in person. Yes.
Let me ask a question. Are you related? Are you related to this Yeshua?
If I'm related to him?
Yes.
As in blood-wise?
Yes. Lineage.
No, I know we're Africans. I am African.
African spirituality, we are connected.
You know, one thing that throughout my experience, there was a time when I was in the spirit, and there was something the Africans were supposed to do for me. To be honest, we have been brainwashed for the longest of time that we thought what our forefathers were practicing was evil. So I made a kind of reaction that made him to shout at me that shut up, everybody knows what they are doing. And I was like, oh, he is in support of our tradition. So when it comes to over there, everybody's relevant and everybody's tradition is accepted. I know it. But one thing I noticed also, our people over there, not everyone is true to us. Not everyone is ready to help us to awaken. So that's why I say that Yeshua could be the only one that will lead us to the truth. Even when we go there.
But where are you going?
Being awakened doesn't
like
mean
that question.
eyes will be open, right?
Yeah, but we haven't got nowhere to go because basically our creator has put us on this earth to make it right and do what we need to do here. So we're not going nowhere. So I don't know where you're going.
So you've never gone beyond?
Where did I go beyond? My beyond is here. I'm on the earth. This is where my creator put me.
So the forefathers, where are they?
Yeah, my ancestors are where they are. But that passes through me. So I'm my ancestor through me.
So that's where I'm talking about, where they are.
Let me answer that one. Our ancestors are with us, or rather with me.
We're here.
I speak with them, and I'm able to identify, this is my father, this is my grandfather, this is so and so. And the one that came before them, they introduce themselves. Then when I was doing the introduction, I spoke about those people who have that power to astral project. I give an example of my own daughter, how a familiar spirit was trying to present itself like me when she was in that spiritual space.
Okay.
Until she asked that spirit a very specific question. And then she realized, and she told her, no, you are not my mother. And that is when now the spirit showed itself. And she had to come back to the house and get back into her body.
Okay.
So it is always good when you say you have received the awakening to be very, very careful who you are familiarizing yourself with.
That was why I said people should be careful. Not everyone that is communicating there is there to help. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, thank you, Double. Guys, I got Victorious there. Victorious, you want to say something?
All right. After Victoria, I wanted to ask Noble some questions.
Hold on, my brother. hold on. Somebody before you. Victorious, you want to say something? You've been there for a while. Victorious, no. Okay. Santos, you want to say something before Kwame goes?
Yes, I want to say something, and I want to converse with Doctor directly because I think she will give me some answers. I like the fact of what she was saying about your spirit and abstract projection and when you die and all that. So, to my understanding, abstract projection actually, I think most of us experience it every day without knowing that's what we're experiencing, which is one. And when it comes to death, there is no death.
It's just a sensation.
So
I
that is it
explained
for me.
I explained what death is in today's concept. How your spirit has no ability to commit any evil because it is directly connected with the source and it is like the source itself. But the body and the soul are those are the death, and this is what happened when we were introduced into religion, and especially Christianity. The ritual of baptism is where now our spirit was removed from us and death was introduced. And I have explained that is why there is so much death in the world. People are producing death. Even the doctors don't cure you. They give you synthetic treatment, which is actually death.
Yeah,
The
that's
food,
true. And
the food
and
that has
and
been
when
introduced.
we talk about when you talk about the spirit experiencing and all that,
Yeah,
now I'm going to talk from personal experience.
yeah.
Um, have anyone been in the state whereby you you are being killed spiritually, but physically you are alive?
Yes.
That happens to a lot of people every single day, Santos.
Yes.
So now that's
Absolutely.
something I've experienced where I'm alive, but when it comes to the nighttime and my spirit is being tormented. So when you
Yeah.
said your spirit cannot do evil, there are
Yeah.
people out there who can do evil when they abstract projects from their body. Their spirit go around and do evils. And I've had this experience not once, not twice.
Yeah.
And
No.
I've seen other people's spirit. You can see it, but it's not in the physical form that you see things. It's like an energy revolving round, taking different form and shapes, and it depends on your spiritual and soul connection to your body, the capability of you to be able to find that reflection. It's like you being in the quantum world, something the physical eyes cannot see. Then you have to battle for yourself. You battle for yourself to survive, and when you survive, when you wake up, and sometimes you get caught up in between the
Yeah.
physical world and the spiritual world. That's why sometimes you feel like you're trying to stand up from your bed, but you can't, and you are aware that you're trying to stand up, but you just can't stand up.
You're trying to scream and you cannot scream. Let me explain something
Yeah,
about.
Dr. Mitugo, when you finish that, and I'm going to let Kwame talk here because he's waiting
I
patiently,
want
yeah?
to explain something about the spirit. There is a ritual that Africans used to perform when our people
Yes.
transcend. That ritual was killed by religion. So we have so many spirits that have not crossed over. And some of these spirits are angry, very angry. And especially those people who have experienced a violent death. Their spirits, they are restless, they're angry, they have not closed over. And I think this is what the Catholic Church calls purgatory. They are just their angry spirits. And they do attack. Why? Because they are trying to send a message. Can you go and tell my people I want to be released from this situation? I had explained I think it in the last live that we had, why I was brought back to my village, because I'm living in my village, because there are some rituals I needed to do, because my village suffered the worst during the Mau Mau uprising. And there were so many spirits hovering around. There was no development in my village. There's so much hatred. People were hating each other, just like that. Some the ones who call themselves the descendants of the Mau Maus and the descendants of home guards, they could not see eye to eye, and these are their descendants. We were not fighting. It's our father, my grandfathers, who are fighting, but the hatred had been carried over. So I had to literally be moved. I left my home. I thought I was settled in the city. I was brought back to the village, and we've been performing all this cleansing and sending these spirits home and helping them to close over. And we have seen what has happened, but the peace that have come, they also come back. They also come back. They have been appearing to their families and telling them they are at peace now. They go. So spirits who are angry, they are not trying to kill you. They are trying to send you. So when you are in that situation, you can try as much. If you're able to recognize, ask them what they want. And they will always tell you, go to so and so. Tell them I need to cross over. Thank you.
Okay. Kwame, you want to say something, my brother? I know you're eager to come up.
I wanted to ask Noble some questions. I don't know if she can unmute now. We'll ask her some questions.
Yeah, ask the question so she can hear you.
Yeah, Noble, are you a Christian?
Noble, can you hear?
I am a believer.
He asked the question.
So you are not a Christian?
No, I'm a believer.
Believe
No,
of
I
what?
just want to know. So you are not a Christian?
No. Well, I can't say that. But
Believe what?
It's either
You
yes
say you
or,
believe.
it's either yes or no, my sister. Are you a Christian or not? Let's be straightforward.
do you know we have Christians and we have believers?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what do you call a believer? What do you call a Christian? Are they
So
not the same?
are you a Christian or not?
I'm not a Christian.
You are not a
Okay.
Christian.
Yes.
Okay.
That's nice.
Do you believe in the Bible?
I believe in Jesus' teachings.
And you're a Christian.
So you
you believe-
believe in Jesus Christ?
Yes.
So you are a Christian.
Which is his teachings are in the Bible. It's in the scriptures.
I believe them.
Yeah. You know, when he came, he himself came, and he even read the scriptures about things written about him. They rebuked him.
I'm listening.
So
Okay,
if those scriptures
go on.
that has got his information in, if they are even rebuking him because of things that he said about him that are written in there.
You know what I believe about Jesus' teachings?
Mm-hmm.
The ones he spoke about love. The ones he said about forgiveness.
You know, Jesus Christ even has nothing to do with the Bible.
That's why
Christianity is based on the Bible, believing in Jesus Christ. But meanwhile, Jesus Christ has nothing to do with the Bible.
That's why I said I'm not a Christian. But
So if you're not a Christian, are you still reading the Bible? Well, based on what he said that Christ has nothing to do with the Bible.
No.
So why do you?
That's why I said.
There's a contradiction there.
That's why I asked that. Do you know we have Christians and we have believers?
But if you still believe in the Bible, then you're a Christian. Then
I believe in his teachings.
Sorry, let me ask. Where do you get the teachings of Jesus that you believe in?
That was when I reconnected with Source.
Well, how can
Maybe
Jesus'
maybe
teachings? How can Jesus'
Yeah,
teachings
he
be
asks where
technically
you get
false?
those teachings about Jesus
maybe
Christ. Where do you get it from?
Okay, so the one that made me to believe was, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
where did you get that?
It's from the Bible. So that's why I said, okay, I ask you, do you know we have believers and we have Christians?
Yeah, but Noble. What I'm struggling with is the Bible that you're talking about has nothing to do with your Christ. If the Bible has nothing to do with Christ, so why are you listening? Why are you believing the teachings that has nothing relevant to Christ?
Because when I experienced, I was able to relate.
But when you experience what you're experiencing, it has nothing to do with the Bible. It has nothing to do with what's in the book. It's a
Well,
personal.
that's why I said I was
That
able to
book has
relate.
nothing. That book doesn't do nothing to nobody.
I was able to relate. I
Relate. What are
myself,
you relating to?
that He is the way.
Who is the way?
Yeshua is the way.
Where?
The way to
Now,
solve.
maybe if maybe let me just ask you
Okay, I'm
a
struggling.
very short question, maybe Noble.
Yes.
You say that you know, the question I wanted you to answer, the first one was where you get the teaching. You tell me you get in the teachings in the Bible.
No.
Now,
Said,
what
I said
you say?
it was when
Yes.
I met Him that I was able to relate.
Who did you meet? You can't meet
Yeshua.
anybody
Where
that's
did
not physical. Whoa, how can you meet somebody that doesn't exist?
So how did Doctor meet the ancestors? How? Ask her.
Yeah, but that's
we
our
have
ancestors.
we have
Our
Christian.
ancestors. Our ancestors and Yeshua are two different things. You know, our ancestors are us. Yeshua has
No,
nothing to do with you and I. You're an
that's
Let
African.
me
that's your
let me
own
That,
opinion.
my name is Njoki.
Njoki,
The
sorry.
original owner of
Take
that
your
name
time to be
was
able to say
you.
that.
The doctor, can I say something little to Noble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Sister Noble.
You are free
You
to
know
make.
how it came to be that people started these people are Christians.
I've read a lot of history.
Okay, let me tell you what I know. It came about because when Jesus Christ was traveling, yeah, he traveled through many places and he had followers. So when the followers go somewhere, people see them and they say, "Oh, these people they live their life as Christ, Jesus Christ." Yeah, so they how they live their life. It was how they live their life. That was why they were called Christians. So it even has nothing to do with the Bible. When you really want to talk about Christianity has nothing to do with the Bible. It's the way you live your life
I
that
didn't
makes
relate.
you qualify as a Christian.
I didn't
Hold on.
relate.
Let me
I didn't relate myself to
say
Christianity.
something. Just let me
Okay.
say something.
Hold on, guys. Can you hold me? Victoria's been there for a while. Victoria, you want to say something before Doctor?
Just a minute.
Yes, I think
Before Victoria,
Hold
please
on, Jackie.
what
let
I
me say
think
something.
that what I think Sister Noble is struggling with, I've also got the same issue. That same name, Yeshua, came to me telling me that if I mention the name of Yeshua, I can do this, I can do that. What I'm suggesting is that it depends on the name your ancestor or your ancestor gives to you. Because I'm also saying I'm not a Christian, but I'm a believer. So I keep on repeating myself, a believer of what? A believer of Jesus Christ or a believer of what my ancestors is relating to me. So
Thank
I've
you.
been struggling like Noble until I'm still struggling because I'm still looking for a way. I really want to know where I am. You know, when you are in the middle, you don't know what is right. Sometimes I'll say, oh, this, sometimes I'll go to the other side. And I keep on receiving messages not from the Bible, but just telling me the kind of, maybe my sister was sick the other day. They just revealed to me in the dream, you plug this, you take this kind of leaf, and you give it to your sister will be whole.
My
So
That
sister.
was your angels talking to you. That was your
No,
ancestors
it's not.
talking
It's
to
not
you.
angels. Kwame, it's not. It's your ancestors talking to you.
That's what people will say. That's why I said when I said that's why I said ancestors
Let's
second.
stop using Christian's language here, man.
Okay, okay. That was your
We are
ancestors.
Alkebulan. So let's
So
talk Alkebulan language, please.
it's
Thank
like
you, bro.
it's like I'm having the same issue with like a noble because I really don't know where I'm going. I'm sometimes saying, my ancestor, are you with me? Sometimes I will receive information and tomorrow I'll go back to the Bible. I'm just like, where do I go? I don't know where to start from. So I just want,
My
I need
sister
help.
Victorious, I've been down this road as well, just like you have, me and my wife. Now, I used to be in the church for years. I've been down this road and we keep going back and forth. But now I've completely removed myself away because I know exactly where I am. And definitely nothing to do with Christianity or Islam. Purely Alkebulan spiritual, African spiritual, connected with my ancestors 100%. And that's basically who we are. So anything else that takes you away from your origins is not you. Nothing.
Yeah, let me tell
Anything
you.
that takes you away from your ancestors is not you. You can never, as an African, as an Alkebulan, you can never relate to something that is not originally you.
A foreign God.
No, you can't. So if you think you see yourself in something that's not authentically African or Alkebulan, I'm sorry, you're just wasting your space.
Let me say something, Anani. Let me say something, Victoria. And whatever you and Nobo is going through is not new. It is not strange.
It's nothing new.
I moved from church to church, and when I was brought up in the Catholic Church, and then when I started receiving these visions and messages, I would get confused because in the Catholic Church, that is not allowed. So I had to move out of the Catholic Church and I went to the Deliverance Church. In the Deliverance Church, I was given a high position because I was giving revelation. I was giving messages and they were actual messages because I was receiving them. And then from there, I was not comfortable because I was still feeling there is something. And they would tell me, get out of here. You are not supposed to be here. I left the Deliverance Church. I went to the Full Gospel Church.
Njoki, you know, my wife went through exactly the same thing.
And then at long last, I went to a very small church. I don't even remember the name. And within no time, the church was full of the congregation because now I am giving messages that are so true and they are so real. And I was feeling like, oh, it is Christ who is giving me these messages. Until I had to be, actually, I went through hell now with my ancestors. They had to kind of physically deal with me, and I got seriously sick. They had now to separate me completely, and I got seriously sick. When I was sick there, I'm not moving, I'm not doing anything, is when now they started now talking to me directly, telling me I have to separate myself and I am not needed where I am going. They need me because I am the best of all my family. So whatever you're going through is normal. I struggled, and it is not 1 year. And imagine with my PhDs, and I'm moving around churches like a mad woman and giving messages like a mad woman.
In my case as well, when I was very little, I do dreams, and all my dreams, when I wake up in the morning, I have my granddad, my mom, all of them, sitting around my bed to ask me, what did you dream about? But when I grew up, I have to join the community, as we have been saying, the worldly community, and that was where, like, literally, I hardly see anything anymore. Anything I dream is not, I will just sleep all the night. I will have nice dream. But as soon as I wake up, it's finished. I can't remember anything. So at the end of the day, I started praying, asking, what is going on? What is going on? Until I saw that name, Joshua. So what I suggest is that your ancestor can come to you in any name that you will understand that he is the one talking to you. So if Noble is getting Yeshua, you sit down and ask, this Yeshua, where is it coming from? Because if you are using the Yeshua, it relates to the Bible. But I'm
I
telling you, you
didn't.
cannot.
I didn't only get your name. I saw him.
Mine was told that I should use the name Yeshua. I saw
You
a
go
man
through.
in my dream that said to me, if I'm in a very difficult situation, the man will just appear and he will tell me, take this way. So that was just the one that was guiding me all through. But at the moment, I don't, because I'm like a bit confused, I don't see anything. My friends will call me, my mom will call me. It's been a while now, we've not received any message from you. How is everything? I'll say, Mom, I don't know what is going on. I'm completely blank. I can't see anything. I can't hear anything the way I used to hear.
They
So,
have separated you because they want to work on you. This happens. They separate you because the indoctrination we received
Where is our
through
sister gone?
or maybe she's
the
gone.
Maybe I don't know. She's gone.
indoctrination we received through Christianity is just so deep. And what you're talking about, for me, even my mother could beat me not to get angry. You know, the African mothers. Because if I got angry with somebody when I was growing up, something would happen. Something
Yes,
terrible would happen.
yes,
I would say something. My mother would hold my mouth not
yes,
to say.
yes,
Because
correct.
these gifts are ours. They are given to us through our blood, our ancestry. We have them. And I would dream about something. There's a time I got angry. I was in class 4, and there's a girl who I got angry with. I can't even remember what we did. But then I told her, I wish you can break your leg. And it happened. I saw after 1 week she came to the school with what do you call that whatever, that leg broken. Whatever they put. And I was
POP.
very excited. You know, I
POP.
was young, so I used to get so excited when I see this punishment. But my mother knew, my father knew,
Wow.
so they would control me. And then my mother, be the African mother, would beat me up not to get angry. Imagine you're a small girl, you're being beaten not to get angry. I would get angry with my brothers. I was brought up with brothers, and I just wish and say that I wish you can break your leg. And my brother will go jumping somewhere and he falls down and he breaks his leg. So these gifts are our spiritual gift. We are born with us, but because of the indoctrination, they are suppressed in us. And what I have talked about, our spirit being kicked out of us. So as we grew with the indoctrination, our spirit became quiet, or it moved from us. And that is why now when you start receiving the awakening, there is so much confusion. There is what you are used to. Please note, Victorious, our ancestors will never give you a strange name. They
Okay.
come with their names. From the people I have interacted with, they come with their true names. But remember, when I was giving an introduction, I talked about familiar spirits.
Okay.
And when my daughter experienced this week, when she was astro projecting, she met with a spirit that looked like me and behaved like me, and it was talking like me until she asked that spirit one question. And that's how she came to know, you are not my mother. So, if the spiritual world knows that you are awakening, and they know what happens, especially you, because you are an anointed one, they know what will happen. So you receive familiarity because religion is life. It wants to remain in you because it is death. So they will give you names. I used to tell people I'm receiving messages from Jesus. They used to tell me they are Jesus of Nazareth.
Wow.
Until my great grandfather came to me in a dream and he told me, no, you don't belong there. You belong with us. And he showed me his what do you call them? Those
Kwame, thank you for the gifters. Kwame, thank you, Kwame.
yeah, he gave us, he showed me those apparatus, what do you call, the sacred relics. He told me, this is what we use, and we are going to give you back. And he took me back to when I was being born. I saw myself being born, holding my beads. And he told me, that is who you are. That is the time now I got comfortable.
Oh.
So the struggle is real. And you'll be separated. Your people will reject you because you're not making sense.
Victorious, what's your Nigerian? You're Nigerian, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
What's your Nigerian name?
Itoha.
Pardon?
Itoha.
Start calling yourself your name, please, my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, that Victorious is not. That's not African. Let's start with the name. Let's go back to who we are.
Yes, I've got that because I was a preacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but let's go back to who we are. The name that your parents gave you is your name. That's who we are.
You're
This
right.
English name has nothing to do with an African person. I'm sorry. We're African. I'm Nigerian. My name is Oladele, and that's who I am.
Yes, I'll change it because
Let's go. This is how we start to decolonize our minds by going back to who we are.
I've got the thoughts before to change it, so it's like you are confirming it today that I need to change it. I'm going to change it anyway.
Yeah, go back to your name, my sister. That's V Victoria. That's in English, whatever it is, man. It's not you.
Yeah, that could cause the confusion as well. Bearing the name that we're not supposed to bear can cause confusion. Of course.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you, our sisters are so lovely.
And that is why
Their
coming
love,
together as
their love
Africans.
is. Continue, my sister. Me too.
The reason we are coming together as African scholars and renaming our, what do you call them? Our lakes, our mountains, and our forests, and giving them, restoring the original names. Like now, Mount Kenya, it is not, that is what the Modogo called it, but it is Kirenya, Gakana Kiremara. That's what it is. Lake Victoria. Why should you call the lake that is in the heart of Africa Lake Victoria? Victoria Falls. That's because the white man knows the power of a name. And that is why when you are baptized, you're given that English name. When you name something, you own it. So we go back. We may still have that English name in our certificates because we went to school. But you separate yourself from that name and you start calling yourself your original name. That is who you are. And that is how you connect.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
can I say something to my sister before?
Yeah, you can go on.
Yeah, like how my sister is saying, she hears the name Yeshua. Yeah, me, I have prayed in the name of Jesus Christ before, and miracles has happened for me. That's how much our sisters love us. Even if we are blind, they still forgive us and do what needs to be done for us. That's why you see most of these African pastors, most of them are really genuine. They've not gone to any juju person to get that. But let me tell you, it's really their ancestors that is because it is already in them.
Yes.
That gift is already in them.
Yeah.
So they have the power to do that. Just that they're doing it in that name. Yeah, so they want us to connect back to them. They want us to start using their names like you've been now you have the confirmation that you need to change your name back to your original name. Yeah. So we need to reconnect to them so that they will do what they really need to do for us.
And I think the Bible is a little bit confusing. You get what I mean?
It's always been confusing, my sister.
It was brought to confuse us.
Yeah, if it's saying your father loves you, blah blah blah, and at the end of the day, it's saying that you're gonna go to hell. No matter what your daughter will do, if you have said
And let me tell you how they've been even drawing our powers. You know how the Bible,
Where
when
is the
it
help?
says,
Who have
you
been
say, I
there?
have no power of my own.
And it says
But
to you,
meanwhile, it says, if God gives you a gift, God gives you that power. If God gives you that power, it's
nobody
yours.
take it. Nobody
Whether
take
He
it back.
gave it to you or you stole it, or He didn't give it to you, it's been given to you. Once that is been transferred to you, it is yours. So that power belongs to you.
The
But
pattern.
the Bible tells you that you have no power of your own. If
And
I
one
give
thing,
you, like, if I give you, say, a watch now, I am the one that gave you that watch. I am the one that bought that watch with my money, and I've given it to you. Once I've given it to you,
It's yours.
that watch is yours, not mine.
And another one they say is that you obey your master. So your master can beat you, can flog you. I just think that is for the Europeans so that they can, suppress us. So I always believe with some of those things that this Bible was like, sorry to use the word framed, just to use it to oppress
it
the
is a
innocent
manual, it is
Africans.
a colonization manual. That is what they were using for colonization. But if you do a study of the Bible, the origin of the Bible, you will find that the Old Testament is actually an Alkebulan story, but a mythical story. It is our culture that has been crafted in there.
It's been
And then,
plagiarized.
yes, then you come to the book of Revelation. It's
Visualize.
all about the awakening. There's nothing else about
My
it's all
sister, you just said something that really touches me.
yeah.
In the Bible, it mentions the name royal priesthood.
Yes, that's who we are. The
Royal
son of
priesthood. Around the world, which people have royal priesthood? Like I said this some time ago, as some people said I was speaking blasphemy. I was saying me, I come from a bloodline of royals and priests.
yes.
So naturally I carry the blood of the royal priesthood. And I was saying, oh, you are speaking blasphemy. It was only Jesus Christ who came to this world and said that. And I was like,
No.
that is my blood. There's nothing that I can do about it. It's in me.
Go to the book of Revelation. They are talking about the Son of Man coming. First and foremost, we are the sons and the daughters of the
Exactly.
Son. And then, listen, this person has the hair like the wool of a sheep who has the hair of the wool of a sheep. This is our hair. So they had our prophets talking about the awakening. So that is why they crafted it there to give you confusion. You start waiting for a Christ who is coming to take you somewhere in heaven and forget and ignore the awakening when it starts happening.
Let me tell you, there is a story in the Bible that is very old than the Bible itself.
Yeah,
It's about the story of Nimrod.
yeah,
That talks about how when they built the Tower of Babel to go to the sky, to go to heavens.
yeah,
When that happened, they said God said he did not like it, and he created confusion between them. So they started speaking different languages.
yeah.
Around the world, which continent have those different languages?
It's Africa.
Go to one country. In my country, Ghana, we have almost like 56 languages. Go to Nigeria, how many languages? But these
Yeah.
people, a whole country, even a whole continent speaks one language. But still, when these stories are being told, they
Yeah.
want to claim it's them, it's their story.
But then you find like nowadays, because of the awakening, they are tying everything with Africa. Like they keep on saying that the Ark of the Covenant is on Mount Kenya. Because they know what that mountain represents to us, to the whole of Africa. The Mount Keremara, because that is what it is called. Kirinyaga. And all the communities in Africa, if you go into the history of immigration, they used to move around that mountain. A mountain that is on the equator, but it has snow on top.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Santos.
Because I'm always all about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
What is the essence of life after all this analysis, after all this awakening, after all this understanding? What
Good
is the
question.
essence of going through this mental paralysis, spiritual paralysis, then awakening over again? What will now happen?
Njoki.
The source, there are things that the source only can tell. But what we live with is what had been foretold, what is in the history, and what is happening now. Why it has happened, why the colonization, the enslavement came, we may not have an answer. But we look at the introduction of death. I like looking at the time death was introduced into the world. And that is why I say Jesus is connected with death and is the cause of all the problems. We may not have a straight answer as in black and white why it happened. But the fact is, it happened. But do we have hope? Yes. The awakening is happening. Why? Because the source has to restore the world. The universe has to be restored back to its original. We have the humans have outlived themselves in misery, in destruction. Our forefather knew that the world will always recreate itself. And from 2020, I saw a confirmation from the scientists saying that from the year 2020, that's when there was COVID. The world now is revolving on the reverse. You can Google that.
I understand. I understand what you're saying when you talk about the new earth. It's all about the new earth rejuvenating itself. So when you understand all those facts and all that, you understand that nature itself can rebuild itself. It can only give man time to just fumble around and fall back to where it's supposed to fall back to. But my question is looking at the entirety of existence. What is the essence of existence in its entirety, despite the drama, the rejuvenating, the continuous cycle process of
That is
falling and rising and all that?
that is when we say and we get to know that the source is a mystery. And so many things that happen are mysterious. Why did the source allow for the colonization? Then all of a sudden, I'm looking at the Gen Zs, an army that had no arms, but so powerful and so vibrant, it has woken up and it is fighting that rotten system. We may not have an answer. This is what I'm saying. We may not have an answer as into yes and no. And that is what separates us now from the creator. We see its power.
Well, I like your opinion on this.
We are
Now,
given
I'm
an
writing I'm
understanding.
writing a book. I'm writing
Yeah,
a book titled My
exactly.
Journey of Thought Dimension.
Yes. If
And
we are
in
given
that
an
book,
understanding, if we are given an understanding of everything, then we become the creator, the source itself.
So can I
I like what you
can I say
said. Now,
something?
in that book, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let me say this and I'll
Can
Santos,
I
finish
drop
because
it.
I'm gonna round up shortly, guys. So Santos, there you go.
So now in that book, I'm gonna talk about a lot of things that are from my intuition, not from anybody's teachings, not from anybody's idea, bro. From my own perspective, how I tap into nature, how I tap into the entire existence, and I understand these things. I'm gonna put that in that book, and it's gonna be something. But for now, what I would say is the entirety of every existence is just like a play.
Yeah.
It's just like a play, and we all gonna find the answers in our journey. It depends on how many times you have to reincarnate to get to that level, but
Yep.
we are gonna find our answers. It's matter of time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I love that, man. That's
believe
brilliant.
also
Noble,
you
what you
also
saying?
believe that throughout, to answer his question, do you believe that through the sufferings and all the pains we are learning something?
Actually, I see no sufferings, I see no pain. I only see lessons and challenges to overcome. Yeah.
I love that. Great
So
answer.
let's say the third dimension is a school.
Yeah, it's just like a play. It's a play. It's a play whereby you have to. Don't worry, I lack words to explain most of these things, but when I'm alone, I find a way to use the English language to put them down. And I'm still putting it in my painting though. I've not done my exhibition ever yet in this life, but I'm gonna do it. And when I do, I think that will communicate more better because I don't have the words.
Brilliant.
Bro, we need to connect. I have something coming up that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to organize an event, a very
Okay.
massive event for awakened people and those that are into arts, those that are into music, like for everyone to come together at an event like that. So
That's great.
yeah,
I'll
so
be looking
I'll
forward to
I'll
it.
try to connect to you after this live.
Okay, that's great.
When are you back online again?
Should be back. We should be back next Saturday, my sister.
What time?
I think probably between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. But I will send an invitation out. Just connect with me, and yeah, I will send an invitation to you.
That's good.
My sister Njoki, have you got a final words before we go, please?
Yeah, just as a final word is that through this awakening, I was able to do I concluded a 7-year research on African indigenous systems, and I was guided into starting the African Granary initiative. It's an online digital platform. And what you have mentioned about art, music, skills development, because Africans, we are gifted in everything. We cannot beg or borrow from anyone. We are restoring the granary, we are restoring our food system. We are embarking on value chains, different value chains. Because one thing we also need to understand is Alkebulan, our minerals cannot be exhausted because there is a portal for the person who is writing the book. I need you to do a research on that. There is a reason why the minerals in Africa are inexhaustible. It's because we hold a portal. And that is what the whole world, the whole Western world is fighting for. If they can move us out, then they have an access now to all the power.
Yeah,
And
I totally agree with you with what you just said because I told a friend of mine 3 days ago that the only reason why the entire black man is still living is because if the black man is erased from this planet, the human race will extinct.
just
Yes.
like it will cease to
That's
exist.
a fact.
So that is
Yep.
how powerful we are, and we are
So we
calling
are
Yes,
the
upon.
custodian
yes.
of life. So there
We are
is
the
no way.
custodian,
We are
and
the
that's why we are.
ones.
Actually,
Is it
if
Alkebulan?
there is a
Alkebulan means mother of mankind. That's why I use that word. Some people might say it's
yes,
not original to Africa, but Alkebulan means mother of mankind. That is who
Uh-huh.
we are as black people. Bear that in
Okay.
mind.
and the whole area
Wow.
from West Africa, cutting around Central Africa to East Africa, is called the nest of the Creator.
Yes.
And there's something you said, Mintu, about money that I was so amazed. When you talked about you don't understand why somebody can keep billions in their account. It's
Yes,
called ignorance.
yes. All I need to do, and this is what we are doing with the African Granary. We
It's
build
called
our,
ignorance.
and that is why we are calling on the Africans in the diaspora. Can you come and we restore our system? Because our systems were there, they were distorted. We were named to be poor, yet we are the richest, and we hold life. We are the eternal.
Oh
We do not have death. There is
no.
no death
There
in
is no debt.
Alkebulan. It is just life. We keep
Just
on living,
life.
and that is why we don't need to hide some billions in a foreign land. No, all those billions are supposed to help us here build
Is it?
our continent for the sake of posterity, because we are going to transcend into the next dimension, but others will come.
When when people have been soaked with capitalism, they become
Yeah.
so ignorant of the factual fact of life. So that's why you see people doing majority of what they're doing and all that. Because in the real sense, we don't have ownership of any materialistic aspect of life. We are just custodian, nurturing those things for the next
That's it.
incarnation that will take place. That's just it.
And Santos, that's the essence of life.
Exactly.
I was
That's
about to
just
tell you that. Yeah, well, the answer that you
that's
needed for your question. Yeah, yeah.
so. Like I
We
said,
are
my
here.
my book, my
What is
book and
around
art,
us, develop it.
my book and art, we talk about most
That's
of
the
the
reason
things.
why we're here.
So
So you answered
I'm
your
going
own
to talk
question, my
about
brother.
different levels of existence, because this is just the third dimension that we are and all that. So I'm going to talk about a lot of things in my book, and it's going to come out when it come out.
No worries. Guys,
Make
I've got to
sure
say
that you
thank you for every
launch
single one of
call
you.
us and call us for that book launch so that we can support you. It is important
Yeah, we
that we
will. Don't
support
worry. We can link.
my very
Just
final
follow each other,
word.
guys.
Yeah, for my very final word is that we need to look beyond these colonial boundaries.
100%.
I know you have gone somewhere, you've gone, maybe come to Kenya or gone somewhere and looked at someone and you resemble each other. Because
Yes,
Africans, when
I was in
they
Ghana. I see somebody that looks like me in Ghana.
somebody had claimed me when I was actually went for a conference in New York, and somebody was claiming me, and he was very convinced that I come from Nigeria, and I looked and I resembled somebody that they know. So because our people used to intermarry, so we have the same blood. We should have our DNA tested. All of
People
us.
see me and they think I'm from Uganda. Me, I'm from Ghana.
So we need to think and look at ourselves and first of all, break those boundaries in our heads. We should not
Exactly.
have
Africa
any
never knew
boundaries in
any
Africa.
boundaries.
Just
It was these people
Alkebulan.
that brought it to us. Yeah, they
Exactly.
forced it on us. We never knew anything like that.
All right. Thanks, guys. All I say, guys,
Thank you.
let's decolonize our minds. Nothing from the colonizers, nothing from the white man will ever emancipate the black man. We are our own solutions, guys. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Have a good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye. Good
Good day,
night.
guys.